Is my light gone? Why do I always lose this thing? Just when I actually need it. Okay, we are streaming in 1 second there. I need this. This is needed. This can go there somewhere. Yes? No? Yes? Maybe? Ah, wonderful. Bit bright. Much better. Awesome. Right. Today we are voting, not for anything super important like presidency or anything like that, but I figured since we have the Game of the Year awards coming up very, very soon, I may as well vote on them, right? So yeah, we are going to check the audio, and then we're going to start, because checking audio is an important thing. Sounds working. Yes? Yes. Okay, awesome. Let's do it. Okay, where do we begin? These are all the categories. Let's start voting. Why not? So this is not going to be a particularly long stream, but I just kind of thought it might be a fun idea, because I wanted to vote, and I may as well do it online, I suppose. Quick disclaimer, I've not played most of these games, nor do I necessarily care about all of the categories, but every vote counts, I suppose. I'm quite an avid video game player, and I have been for like 20 years, so probably a little bit more actually. It's kind of scary. So yeah, may as well go through it, and if I get to a category like VR or something, my vote's probably not gonna sway it too much, but yeah, I'll do my best based on what I know. So first things first, Game of the Year. Plague Tale, never played it. Elden Ring, played it quite a bit. God of War Ragnarok, never played it because it just came out. Horizon Forbidden West, didn't play it, heard mixed things about it. Stray, I really quite enjoyed Stray, it was a very cute game. And Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which I've never played. I think I almost played it, but I did not. So for this, Stray was good. It's not Game of the Year. Ragnarok is going to be good, but I haven't played it, so I'm going to go for Elden Ring. Yay. Okay, next. How do we... next category. Yeah, I knew that. That's fine. Alright, best game direction. Outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Oh, okay. Elden Ring, Ragnarok, Forbidden West, Immortality. Never heard of you. And Stray. Okay, so game direction. I think Stray was very good because it was a very like close linear kind of story. There wasn't a huge amount of exploration and things to do in Ragnarok and Elden Ring, or I suppose basing that off of 2018 God of War. But it was very well directed. There were very good. I don't know, what is that? What is it? Transitions, I suppose, between gameplay and cutscenes. It was very compelling. I don't know, the overall experience of playing Stray was very good because it was directed very well. The same can be said about God of War 2018. So I assume Ragnarok will also be along those lines, but I can't say for sure. Other ones that I've played here, though. Did Elden Ring have better game direction than Stray? It had certainly more game direction, and I think it was very well hidden in a way. Like any From Software game, it's just kind of very hard to tell what's actually going on. But it is a very good experience, and I think that Stray, while it has a lot of strengths and things like that, I didn't enjoy nearly as much as Elden Ring. Elden Ring had more work to go into it, and I'll definitely play it for longer than Stray. So I think I will go for Elden Ring here as well. Next category. No, did I next category? Yes, I'm sure. Okay, best narrative. Plague Tale. A lot of these, it's just kind of difficult because I don't know anything about them. Here, I've only played one of these games, but narrative for Elden Ring, that doesn't mean it's a terrible narrative, it just means it's the only one I've played here. But still brilliant narrative to the games, when you can actually work any of it out anyway. Best art direction. Scorn I do know a little bit about, I think. That definitely rings a bell. Elden Ring or Stray. This whole video is just going to be, or the whole stream is just going to be Elden Ring or Stray, because that's like the only 2022 games I've like actually played like extensively. Some of them at all. For outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation, I think being a cat was a big step in video gaming history. I think that the actual, I mean, there's other cat games. There's that, what, Catastrophe or whatever that one was called, where you just run around as a cat and you knock things off shelves. I've played that for an embarrassingly long amount of time. I think that's probably more than I've played. It's definitely more than I've played Stray, actually. But a lot of recent games, I played that cat lateral damage, whatever it's called, something along those lines. I played it a lot, like at least 12 hours in total. And it is very good, but it's not a very smooth and enjoyable experience compared to something like Stray, which is very particularly focused on the animations of the cat and how it does its cat core, which is cat parkour, around the world, and how it interacts with creatures despite it not being able to really speak or communicate efficiently, right? But I did think Stray was a very good game, and I do think the art of it was a beautiful game. The landscapes and the places that you do visit are breathtaking. It is incredible, and it's a very interesting story. So it has got a lot going for it, as you know, as well as particularly in how good the game looks and how fun it is to run around and explore and see from the bottom of it to all the way to get to the outside world kind of thing. It was a very, very a very beautiful game. I think I'm still going to give it to Elden Ring though, and the reason is because Elden Ring has genuinely mind-blowing kind of scenery, and some of the places that you visit there are just incredible. If you've ever made it down to the what's it called, I don't want to have to check it, but the elevators that take you down to the crystal cave underneath area, and that just blew me away, because even in the overworld I was just kind of riding along, seeing huge golden trees in the background and all these amazing giant things, and it was beautiful, but then and incredible in a lot of places. But then you go even all the way underground, and it is just insane how the night sky looked like a real night sky despite it being a cavern. So I think that Elden Ring definitely had even more going for it than Stray, and Stray was amazing, so not to put Stray down at all, but I'd definitely go for Elden Ring. And I'm beginning to see how Elden Ring is going to place pretty high in all of the categories here, especially because people like me have played Elden Ring quite a bit, but almost none of the other games here, so that's going to sway a lot in their favor. And also, a lot of people have been playing Elden Ring for almost the entire year, whereas God of War Ragnarok came out like days ago. Oh, no, it was like a month ago now, almost. But it has been much longer for Elden Ring, for people to play Elden Ring and explore more of Elden Ring than God of War Ragnarok. I mean, it's a shorter experience, I imagine, but still. Best score and music. I can only really go with Elden Ring here. I have not played any of the others, so that one's easy. Although I assume that God of War Ragnarok soundtrack is going to be incredible, just like the first ones. Best audio design. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Not played that yet either. Gran Turismo 7. Not going to play that, unfortunately. Well, very fortunately. I'm not going to play it either way, fortunate or unfortunate. Again, Elden Ring. This is literally just going to be Elden Ring all the way through, which I'm fine with. There's a good chance I would have voted for Elden Ring in every category, even if I've played all these other games. But it doesn't really matter if I haven't played any of the others. Okay, well now there's no Elden Ring here, so now I have to vote for literally anything else. Okay. God of War, Sunny Suljic. So that's the guy who played the kid in the first game as well. I would only really imagine. Let's double check though. Wouldn't want to be basing it on the wrong. No, what is that? No, go with that one. I wouldn't want to be basing it on incorrect information. So he was in the first God of War game, and he did have a very good performance. An amazing performance, one might even say. And I've not seen him in God of War Ragnarok yet, because I've not played it yet. But I have to choose one of them, to be honest. Not that I know anything about those three, and that's the same lady. But even so, Christopher Judge's voice as Kratos is incredible, especially as someone who played, God of War since I was quite young, or at least much younger than I am. To get Christopher Judge as the voice, even down to the detail in the first game of him having that indeed thing that he has in everything that he does, I've got to vote Christopher Judge. There's no even question about that. I think Sonny might have like a better case in it now in the new game because there's more progression and that's part of his whole character story and his character arc. But I've not yet played it, so Christopher Judge. Games for impact. For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. I was a teenage exo-colonist. Never even heard of that. Hindsight. No. Endling Extinction is Forever. I have heard of that one. I've not played it. Citizen Sleeper, As Dusk Falls, and A Memoir Blue. I've literally not played any of these games. I really need to get into some of the new games. I'm still catching up with some 2020 and 21 games in some regards. Or I'm just playing things that are older than that because I enjoy them more. But yeah, I don't know any of this. So let's go look at, just have a quick look at Endling Extinction is Forever, a survival game. Huh. How about that? Is it sad? Emotional story about survival that will leave you in tears. There are moments of sadness, scenes full heartwarming joy. The game will move you. Interesting. It's the one that most caught my eye in, well, from what I knew about. Probably because I might have heard of these before, but that none of them just seem like my thing. But I might play Endling. That seems really cool. I'm not the biggest fan of survival games, but yeah, I guess we'll go with that. And then I'll just have to play it at some point and then retroactively give my opinion to confirm or deny this. Right. Number 9. Best ongoing. Ooh, okay. Now, awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Oh, that's tough. I don't like any of these games here, not a single one. I kind of liked Genshin Impact when it started because it was a lot like another game I played, but it was kind of like an MMO but single player. Because I don't like playing games with people online. I don't like Apex. I didn't enjoy Destiny. Final Fantasy has always been boring. Fortnite is just offensive, to be honest. I just really dislike it. The only cool thing I know about Fortnite is they added Spider-Man web slingers into the game a little while ago, and they genuinely work better than, or from what I can tell anyway, they genuinely work better than like actual Spider-Man games for the most part. So it's amazing that they can actually take a fun thing and put it in the game. It just has to be in one of the most boring games ever to be designed and made and enjoyed by people for some reason that is just unknown to me. So we're not voting Fortnite. I would think the one that is I have the most experience with would be Genshin Impact because I played it for like a week or two. So that's the one I got the most enjoyment out of. So great job, Genshin Impact. Yeah, these aren't all going to be great. In fact, some of them are going to be terrible. But yeah, it's good to cast vote, good to have a voice, and good to push some of the games that we've enjoyed up, even if it is just a little bit. Best indie game for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. Cult of the Lamb I've heard is very good. Neon White I've heard of, but I can't tell you anything about. Sifu is great. I really enjoyed Sifu. Stray, oh, very, very good. That's going to be a tough decision. Tunic, never played it. Okay, so I've actually played 40% of these games, and I've heard of one other quite a bit. So this is going to go down to Sifu or Stray. Outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside of the traditional publisher system. I think that would be Stray. Especially because Stray is very on its own. And from the minute that I heard about Stray, like months before it came out or whenever it was, I went, yes, I need to play that game. Game that you can be a kitty cat, yes, I need to experience this. Same as Snake Pass. I love Snake Pass. I've always loved Snake Pass because the premise of Snake Pass, if you haven't played Snake Pass, is you are a snake. move through the level. And that's about it. And that's all I need. I love weird games like that. So Stray had me from the beginning, and I really very thoroughly enjoyed it. Sifu, while it is a great game and while it's very enjoyable and there's a good difficulty to it, so or at least when you first start out, so it is a very enjoyable experience. I like it because it's kind of Souls-like. I like it because it's very similar to some other games that I liked. So creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system, I would have to say Stray. I'm gonna vote for Stray. Nice. That was a good one. Best mobile game. Oh, crap. I hate mobile gaming. Mobile gaming is genuinely one of the plagues of mankind. Genshin Impact is on mobile? God, I can only... This all looks horrible. Apex Legends mobile. Shooters on a phone, terrible. Would never play it. Diablo Immortal. Never liked Diablo. I've heard bad things about Immortal. Here it's a pretty good, you know, like mobile game though, except for all the evil microtransaction kinds of things. Yeah, Genshin Impact, didn't even know that was on phones. It's pretty boring, so I wouldn't be too enthralled with it. Marvel Snap, never heard of it, go away. Tower of Fantasy, I don't even know. So we're gonna go Diablo Immortal because it's the best, best game playable on a mobile device. The best game out of this is probably the best game. It's probably the one I would enjoy the most, which is really not saying much. Best community support. Okay, now, now, No Man's Sky originally is very, very difficult to place on something like this because it had one of the most atrocious launches I've ever seen in my life. It was genuinely awful. Don't know anything about Apex. I see people online play Apex, and I just don't care for it. Destiny 2. Destiny is offensively boring and just terrible, so I've just never enjoyed it, even since the first one. Played both of them, didn't enjoy either of them. Final Fantasy 14. There's way too many of these. Stop making them. They're all crap. I hear the new one's kind of good. Maybe I'll try it at some point, but I played like 4 of those games in the past, and I just never really enjoyed any of it. Fortnite, no. No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has come a long way from when it launched, and what they were intending it to be and what it actually was were two very different things. And they've made a lot up in that intervening time to make it a much more enjoyable experience. I don't know if it's yet at the level that they originally wanted or promised, but I have heard from many sources, as well as sources that were bashing it for obvious reasons when it came out, confirming that it is much better. So I'm going to go for No Man's Sky. Innovation in accessibility. Okay, recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. Okay, that's interesting. In that case, okay, don't know anything about As Dusk Falls. Haven't played that. Haven't played this or the old ones, but I know a lot about their impact in video gaming and why people enjoy them and things like that. Last of Us is just boring, and I didn't enjoy it, so I'm not even going to consider you. And The Quarry. The Quarry was my first thought as soon as I read that description, but to be honest, it doesn't really push any boundaries. It just does more of the making decisions, branching paths narration kind of thing. So it doesn't really push boundaries. It just kind of continues to sit where those boundaries have been established, as far as I know. Maybe you need a couple more hours in the game, you know, like finishing the game once or twice to really see those, but I really got no impact from anything I've ever heard about The Quarry and it being different from the things that came before it, kind of like Until Dawn. It's pretty much just more Until Dawn as far as I understand. Maybe that's an uninformed opinion, but that is that is it for now. I need to go and handle something quickly. So how do I? Oh God, this is a different system and therefore unusual to use. So I just need to go switch over power because the power is back, and I just need to go and switch off the generator. How do I? Okay, I'll be back. I'll be right back. I just wait, I suppose. Okay. Right, sorry about that. The rain has stopped and the generator's off. It's just so peaceful now. Right, what the hell was I talking about? Oh, adding features and pushing technology. Okay, this is quite difficult. Mostly because the Quarry, as far as I know, didn't do much. The Last of Us didn't even inspire me enough to play the game. I haven't played Return to Monkey Island, but it's nice that they're bringing games like that back because many people enjoyed them. God of War Ragnarok, I've actually heard a lot about it changing things up from the last game. Narratively, they do lots of interesting things. In the first God of War, in the first of the new God of Wars, being God of War 2018, they did the one-shot thing, which I thought was incredible. That was very, very good. The fact that you can start the game and just run all the way through on one camera that kind of pans and moves through things. Stuff like that, I think, was really good for pushing kind of boundaries and helping us reach more people. I think that was a very big one. The Quarry and those choices kind of games do have a little bit more in it, where it's not a traditional video game and therefore it reaches a lot of other people going, hey, this is different from slashing games and stuff like that, even though it's a slasher movie game. But anyway, it reaches a new brand of people that now play video games because they didn't before, because there are games that they enjoy, essentially. So, probably a predictable end. We're going to go for God of War. These are all a little bit weird, especially if they're things that I've not played or not yet played or anything like that. This chair is driving me insane. It's a little bit weird, but it's not the end of the world. I think casting a vote in something like this isn't going to make the biggest difference, but it is nice to, just kind of have a voice in there and actually place votes and take part in stuff like this. So why not? Before we do the next one, oh my god, this chair. Just gotta swap chairs. Ah, that is so much better. See? Much quieter. Okay, now. Next category. Best VR AR. Oh, okay. Now, full disclosure on this one. I have never played VR. I don't have VR. I very much like to get VR. I'm very excited to try VR, especially as someone who's been very immersed in video games since I was very young. I'd love it. I think that's one of the biggest new steps in technology and where we can really go with gaming. Is that a bug? And where we can go with gaming and a new level of being immersed in games, which I think is really important, or very valuable, I suppose, as a video game, as like a subculture, something we can really lean into a lot easier, and it's easier to explain when you can physically put someone in the Batman game, because older generations and certain people would not necessarily get pulled into some games like we do. I got very pulled into many games, particularly like the Arkham Knight series or the Arkham series of Batman. I really enjoyed those. I've always liked Batman. Who doesn't like Batman? And those games let you like really delve into those characters in a lot of senses, which is quite cool. It's a lot harder for people that don't really like Batman or don't really like video games or things like that. If you actually put the headset on them and let them play video games in the video game, it's a lot easier to immerse yourself in it. You can lose yourself in that world a lot easier. Some people do it with 2D games. Some people do it with, 4D games with, I guess, do we have 4D games? Because 4D movies is like moving chair and with like being sprayed. I've done stuff like that. That's more like AR. That's not really a VR thing, but it's more immersive. It's playing with other senses to get you more immersed in the reality of the entertainment product that you're experiencing, essentially. So, all of that being said, I have not played any of these. I don't even play Among Us 2D. I dislike it. Moss Book 2, pretty sure I own Moss, actually, but never played it because I don't have VR. Red Matter 2, After the Fall, who knows. Bone Lab, as much as it's not as good as some other things, as much as it's it is a great new step into VR. It's not the best that VR can do. I still think it's fantastic. Out of these options, though, I think it's going to be Bone Lab, because that is categorically better than Among Us in a lot of senses. I think Among Us is very interesting with some social interactions and things that you can get into, and it's very unusual. and it set a whole new precedent, but the memes are really irritating. And a lot of people I know that play Among Us are really irritating, and that's not Among Us's fault. But it still doesn't make me like Among Us anymore. So, yeah. Bone Labs anyway. Bone Lab anyway. Best action game. There's a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. Okay, well, I'm very not caught up. Only one I've played here, Sifu, and it's what I would have gone with anyway. Never really enjoyed Bayonetta. I'm not excited to play the new Modern Warfare. Maybe it'll surprise me, especially because it's got that nostalgia going for it. But Sifu is it's an amazing action game. Definitely on the top there. Best action adventure. That's a very, I don't like that action adventure term that we use because it's very non-descriptive, and I dislike it. Plague Tale. Haven't played it. God of War, Horizon, Stray, Tunic. Now I know that God of War would be a better action adventure than Stray. I guess in most senses. I don't know. You don't need combat to be an action adventure. But I'm gonna go with Stray because I've actually played it. I've seen all the way through Stray. I really enjoyed it, and I've not yet played God of War Ragnarok. So yeah. Best role-playing game: Elden Ring, easy. Live Alive, Live or Live? No idea. Pokemon Legends Arceus. I've seen quite a bit of Pokemon Legends Arceus, whatever. I've seen a lot of it, and it looks really good. It does genuinely look like what I had in my head for Pokemon games all the way back in the day, of like the Game Boy Advance SP, that would be these things. This amazing bit of technology here. This is the actual one that I was playing when I was a kid as well, and it still works. It's quite amazing. But I played a lot of Pokemon, particularly on this, and the games that I played on there being Ruby, Red, and some of the really earlier generations of Pokemon, I very much enjoyed, but a lot of it was kind of inferred in your head. Like, you had 2D sprites, and a lot of it was a little bit odd, but I loved the games. Still love the games. Would love to find a cartridge for that. God, that makes me sound very old. But I'd love to play it. But this new Pokemon Legends Arceus game, apparently not like Scarlet and Violet, is really good in my opinion at bringing to life those things, because you have a lot of the similar experiences but in a much more full and rich way. The same way that the new Spyro games, or the most recent Spyro games, which are Spyro 1, 2, and 3 remastered, is incredible, because those are games I played on this very same Game Boy. God, I even took it to America with me when I was very young, and I was playing these games obsessively. And it's so cool to actually have those in full definition with full modeling and controller support and all of those things now, because I can still remember some of those missions, characters, and even like full steps of the game, just because I played them so often. The same thing with Ape Escape. Even I played so much Ape Escape when I was younger that even my mother knows all of the death animation sounds, like the dialogue whenever you die. It's no use. I played that game so much that my mother knows all of those. My mother has never played a video game once before in her life, except for the one time we tried to teach my parents, how to play Minecraft. It did not go super well. Does not translate very well, but very not into video games. But sometimes you play a game so much that even people around you know how iconic that game is. So I think that Pokemon Legends Arceus has a very good standing in this, but I'm still going to go Elden Ring. I definitely have to go Elden Ring. I mean, I enjoyed it so much more than I probably will with Pokemon Arceus. It's because Pokemon's great, but I don't nearly enjoy it as much as difficult Japanese games. That's just kind of like one of my niches for video games I now know. So this is also the only one I've played. So that's an easy vote there. Second would have been Pokemon, and I am excited to play it, but I need a Switch for that, so I'll get to it eventually. Best fighting. Right. DNF Duel? No idea. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. I have yet to play this game, but I am a huge fan of Eyes of Heaven. Not like the biggest, huge, ultra mega fan, but it is really good. I've played it twice all the way through, and I very much enjoyed it. And this is that same game, but with more characters and remastered. So it's going to be great, and I'm very excited to play it. It's another Bandai Namco. I like many Bandai Namco games. But I've not yet played that one, but it has got very good combat. King of Fighters 15? I've literally never heard of you. How are there 15 games? That's more than Final Fantasies, I think, and I've never heard of this. Okay. Multiversus, Batman and Shaggy. Cool, never played it. And Sifu. Sifu, very good combat system, very interesting combat system, and actually does, now that I think about it, Sifu does a lot with death mechanics and that whole loop thing. That is actually quite an interesting game in a lot of different regards. But it's actually one I've played. Do JoJo's games generally have better combat than Sifu? It's got more varied combat. You've got different stand abilities and stand users and different kinds of stands and different techniques and all things like that. It's more expansive than Sifu. For the best games designed primarily around head-to-head combat, it's definitely between JoJo's and Sifu. I would think Sifu does more industry-changing things with doing something new and different. JoJo's is one of those old consistent games that you can plug in a second controller and play local co-op with, and that's great fun too. This is actually a very difficult decision. I would say probably because I've played Sifu that I would pick Sifu, because I've not yet played this one particularly. So it's going to be Sifu. Best family game. Okay, Splatoon 3. Let's not even go into Splatoon, especially because of the whole ink paint situation. Just don't even get me started on that. I did see some of that at Comic-Con, but it wasn't that interesting to me. Nintendo Switch Sports genuinely might be the one here, because that looked incredible. Didn't get to play any of it. I think I got to play a little bit of it. Anyway, it genuinely looks good because of the interaction and dragging family members in and just having a fun, isolated experience that isn't as difficult to get into as Elden Ring for people that don't play Bandai Namco difficult games like that. I suppose From Software particularly. Yeah, I think Nintendo Switch Sports is definitely going to take it. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I genuinely cannot believe they're still making Mario games, Rabbids games, and Mario and Rabbids games. Those have been coming out since I was very young, and yeah. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Not a bad one. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. We're not even going to look at Kirby. Don't even worry about that. We're not even going to go over there. I'm going to go easy Nintendo Switch Sports, especially because it's got a lot more variation in it, and it's good for like bringing people in that don't generally play video games. So yeah, that's just going to be my vote there. Lego Star Wars, not bad, but it's a little bit more limited in that it's another Lego game. It's just another Lego game. If you want the best family game, go pick up any Lego game. That's not bad, but Wii Sports is a lot more involved, a lot more healthy, a lot more interactive. I think it's just better. Best sim or strategy. Dune, Spice Wars. Never heard of it. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Simulation or strategy. Really? Focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay irrespective of platform. Maybe I need to check out Mario and Rabbids. Okay. Total War Warhammer 3. Yeah. 2 Point Campus. Very interesting. I like those management style games. And Victoria 3 from Paradox. Paradox do a lot of good stuff. I've seen a couple of videos on this, but I don't think I've paid any attention to the game. That's an easy 2 Point Campus. Yeah, easy out of those choices for me. Sports racing. Literally don't care. We'll never play sports or racing. You know what? Can I just skip the category? I can. We'll vote for Oddy Oddy World because it's skateboarding and cool. Yes. Next. Multiplayer. Oh, God. For the nostalgia, I didn't even know this game existed, let alone had multiplayer. So we'll go with that. Content Creator of the Year. Carl Jacobs. Never heard of you. Ludwig. I like Ludwig. He's cool. Nibellion. Never heard of you. Nobru. Never heard of you. QT Cinderella. Never heard of you. I was going to vote for Ludwig anyway. I mean, he's really cool. For a streamer or content creator who had made an important and positive impact on the community in 2022. I think Ludwig, is actually a really nice guy. Not met him, not worked with him, but just my impression of seeing him online and how he interacts with things, how he interacts with people. I think he's just a really cool guy. And from what I remember, he's had pretty positive impact. But yeah, easily easily the choice, even if there were a couple other people I knew of up there. But also considering he's literally the only one of these people that I've ever heard of, it's going to him. Best debut indie for the best debut game created by a new independent studio. Easily Stray. Never played any of the others. Okay, that one was pretty quick. Next category. Best adaptation. Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. Shit. I hate so many adaptations. If it's, One Piece to live action or something like that, I think that is genuinely one of the worst things. I've heard amazing things about Cyberpunk Edge Runners, I believe. Is it Edge Runners or is it... No, it was Arcane. I think it's the first two here, Arcane and Edge Runners. I've heard amazing things about, especially because I've never and will never play League of Legends. It's not happening. Cyberpunk, I haven't played the game nor invested much time in anything Cyberpunk, but I've heard that that is very good and also doesn't require much prior information, which is what I've heard about Arcane. The Cuphead show, I think I saw something about that the other day. I thought that was a meme. It actually exists. It's pretty cool. Not seen it. We're just gonna entirely ignore this one's existence. And that one too. Okay, so we're gonna go for Arcane. Because I've heard more good things about it. Never watched any of these. That kind of TV is just not my kind of thing, really. Most anticipated game. Now. Recognizing an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. Okay. Final Fantasy 16. 16? What happened to 15? I guess it was a thing. Retract that statement before about that series running longer, because apparently Final Fantasy's still not giving up. Okay, so Final Fantasy 16. Hogwarts Legacy, which I'm very excited for. I used to be a very big Harry Potter fan when I was very, very young. And I played most of the Harry Potter games, particularly in the PS2 era, and I quite enjoyed them, despite them not being as good if you go back to play them now. Resident Evil 4, don't know why you're remaking that one. Should have just left that one well enough alone, but I guess we'll see. Starfield, I've heard literally nothing about, but it's Bethesda, so I guess I'll check it out at some point. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Literally didn't know that was coming out either. Okay, I genuinely think here, without knowing anything about Final Fantasy, what Resident Evil's doing different, what new formula Bethesda's got for us, or what new formula Zelda's got for us. Hogwarts Legacy, easily. Obviously, if you disqualify everyone else, there's only one choice, but I think it's genuinely going to be a good thing, because we've not really had a great run of the Harry Potter games. Some of them are okay, but they steadily got worse near the end as well, in my opinion. I think Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince were pretty okay. Weird mini games that are 40% of the whole game aside, I thought it was quite good and did a few interesting things. It was at least enjoyable. I think Hogwarts Legacy, with what it seems to be going for, is much better. Much better than what we've had before and what we actually need, which is creating your own wizard and attending the school and doing magical things and learning spells and, changing your outfits and things like that and being a student at Hogwarts. If Hogwarts Legacy actually does that, it would be incredible, and it would genuinely push the gaming medium forward, because you can immerse yourself in the Hogwarts, school and Harry Potter property more and more effectively. So I think it's going to be Hogwarts Legacy. And out of all the games here, I'll probably play Starfield. And that might be the only other one I ever play. But I'm definitely playing Hogwarts Legacy. Maybe not on release, we'll see how it goes, but definitely going to be playing that because I like Harry Potter, I like magic, and I want to try that game. Next category, please. Best esports game. Rocket League, don't even need a debate there. CSGO's okay, I don't really like shooters that much. Dota 2, don't care. League of Legends, super don't care. Valorant, ultra don't care. Rocket League is amazing, everyone should play it, and we need more esports players in stuff like that, because it is genuinely amazing. Yeah, easy pick. Best esports athlete. I don't know any of you. Jong Chovi Ji-hun, Lee Faker Sang Hyok. Hyok? Sorry if I mispronounce your names. I'm not the best with all name pronunciations, but I do try, even to my detriment. Finn Carrigan Anderson and Anderson. Interesting. Alexander Simple Kostiliev. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Simple with a one. I always find it weird reading things that have numbers instead of letters, just because I feel like I'm supposed to be pronouncing it a different way. But anyway, Jacob Yay Whitaker. Whitaker. Okay, cool. I don't know any of these people, and I don't know what they play. Oh, League of Legends, CSGO, and Valorant. I'm sorry, I don't know any of you guys. It's going to be one of the CSGO players because I actually know about CSGO compared to those. Not that it really matters here, actually. So, did it work? Yeah. Well, it's just above him, so. Good news, Finn. You got another vote. Whoever you are. Best esports team. No, stop. I don't watch esports. I don't have time to watch other people playing video games professionally. To be perfectly honest, I'm still trying to work out playing video games professionally for myself. Not really. I just don't really care for esports. I've heard of the FaZe Clan. Ade Thieves, Loud, Gen G, Dark Zero Esports. I've heard of FaZe. FaZe can have my vote. I have heard of you before. I don't think it was good things that I heard, but there you go. Esports coach. You know, that makes a lot of sense. I never considered esports teams to have coaches, but I guess that does make a lot of sense. Blade, Bizka, Doombros, Robin, Score. You, because you're literally the first option. Best esports event. Guys. Which one doesn't have to do with actual video game sports? Valorant. That's shooting. All of these other... I have no idea. We're going to go with the Valorant one because the trophy looks very cool. I want one of those trophies. I don't want to join a Valorant league for one of those trophies, nor do I have a time machine, but I want one of those trophies. And that was all the categories! Woo! That only got slightly painful at the end. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, that was that. That was certainly all the votes. Do I need to do anything now? That was it. Do we have? Oh, look, I got a whole bunch of things. Does that actually give me anything? Badges. Great. Well, I've got some badges, and you guys now know my opinions on games that I've never played. So I think this was genuinely a very, very good use of our time here. I think this was, we learned a lot here. I think we grew as people today, really. Yeah, that was kind of that. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to do a vote on this, and I just kind of wanted to have a voice in this, you know, just like everyone should. Especially if you play video games, you should vote on stuff like this so we have more accurate data on what games are actually good. Of course, the metrics get kind of a little bit thrown out by people that don't keep all the way up to date with games. Like myself, currently, I don't play every game as it comes out. I can't afford to do that, nor do I have the time for it yet, but slowly shifting things over to do more video game stuff. But it's very useful to have everyone who is even vaguely interested in video games vote in these things, because then we can get more of an accurate reading on what direction we should be going and which games to incentivize and which kinds of things you want to incentivize, because you vote with stuff like this on where you want the community to be going later. In how you support the games that are loot box heavy or games that are narrative story heavy or indie games, it's good to support the things that we like so that they know that they should keep making them. So yeah, that was my votes. I'm not going to let you into the booth on everything I vote in, because I'm actually pretty sure that's illegal. I don't think this really has the same kind of gravity, but if it does, I'm sorry, Game Award people, but it seemed like a cool idea. And I really don't care about people knowing about my votes for something like this, because it's video games. It's not like my political preference or something. It's literally just which video games I enjoyed and which people had the nicest looking trophy, I suppose. So yeah, thanks for stopping in, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one. Maybe a slightly longer video on the next one. Oh no, I know what we're doing next time, and it's One Piece related. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.